Tell me about the children. Dr. Halsey.
You already know everything.
You kidnapped them.
Children's minds are more easily accepting of indoctrination. Their bodies more adaptable to augmentation.
Dare I say, this might be my favorite opening cutscene of the entire series. I don't know if 3 had a great opening, but this is an incredible cutscene. Even though there are canon conflictions. But I probably should say what I'm playing. Obviously, this is Halo 4. But I kind of just want to watch this without speaking too much first, because it's so good.
When one human world after another fell, when my Spartans were all that...
See, it's very strange that they all look like the new design of Chief. And it's the new Elite design, too. When this is supposed to be a flashback.
So you feel in the end your choices were justified.
One of the first of many mistakes that 343 made.
Saved the human race.
Do you think the Spartans' lack of basic humanity helped?
What are you after? The others before you were naval intelligence, but you...
This is the first time we actually get to see her, and she's been... Well, actually, no, I take that back. Reach had her, but she's such an important character in the books.
The records show efficient behavior.
That looks like the Infinite trailer that just came out.
I supplied the tools to maintain that efficiency.
Do you believe the Master Chief succeeded because he was, at his core, broken?
What does John have to do with this?
Yeah, this was such an incredible cutscene. Still, I mean, this game is almost 10 years old, which is mind-boggling to think about, but
The Master Chief is dead.
these hold up so well. Blur makes incredible stuff, and it looks like the facial animation's so good.
Spartans never die.
Nope, they're just missing in action.
Is seeing Spartans as military hardware.
See, they had all the ideas were there for this game. I just think some of the execution wasn't done quite up to what they wanted. But the ideas were there. Like, this was kind of after the giant bombastic finale of 3. They kind of wanted to take it back down to Earth a little bit. They wanted to ground the Master Chief more and, like, kind of do a dissection of his personality and learn more about him as a person, and instead of just like a husk that the player inhabits. Yep, 4 years later, we had been waiting 5 years since Halo 3. Everybody hates the fact that the ship design is different for some reason. That doesn't look anything like the Forward Unto Dawn. Not sure why they changed the design of the frigates. Who knows? But this is kind of what the teaser... Like, can we talk about how hype that E3 reveal was? I still remember it was 10 years ago. It was E3 2011. They announced the 10th anniversary remaster of Halo CE, and then the Halo 4 teaser came later, but nobody knew what it was. It was at the very end, and they didn't say what it was, which was genius. And it's iconic at this point. You had like the heart beating, and you didn't know what it was, and then you hear her say, "Wake up, John," and that's when everybody knew. It was such a hype teaser. And then I think most people agree that the game probably didn't live up to that teaser. But I still defend this game quite a bit. I think there's still a lot of good in it. It was 343's first attempt, and for a first attempt, it's a valiant first go at this franchise, I think. And here's a lot of people's favorite Cortana design. And of course, they don't explain how Chief's armor changed. I guess an explanation by 343 was just, nanobots. Yeah, nanobots changed his armor while he was in cryostasis for 4 years. Okay. But yeah, I just remember the hype cycle for this game was huge. I remember I was reading like the Forerunner trilogy and all those books that came out at the time leading into this game. I was really hyped. For the most part, I wasn't disappointed in this game. I know a lot of people, some people just immediately see the art change, the art design change, and it puts them off instantly, and they will not accept it at all. They're like, it looks different, so bad. Looks different equals bad. Or they just their mindset is as simple as 343 bad, bungo good. But it's a stupid meme. But no, there are things that I think 343 nailed in this game, and things that they got wrong. The biggest thing is people think his personality was totally different, but I don't think it's necessarily true. Yeah, there's a couple times when he like yells Cortana, like that's not something I don't think Chief would do. But yes, he has more dialogue than the other games. He did speak some in the other games, but I think it makes sense with the context of this game. He was taking orders and like just doing. He was constantly on the move, like doing whatever he can to save the universe in the past 3 games. This one, very personal journey, and like the whole back and forth between Cortana. He was humanized more in this game, and I think that was good. Seems like old times.
Ready to get back to work?
I thought you'd never ask.
She is a pretty good design in here, but I do think 3's is... I don't know, that's a tough decision if 3 or 4's is better.
The observation deck, 4 floors up.
Could it be a rescue team?
Wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, this was a surreal moment playing this for the first time, being like, wow, it's been 5 years. We never thought we'd get a sequel to 3. Think about the... oh, wait, let's look at this little Easter egg. This was a cool little thing down here. You could totally miss this, but most people don't. It's a little recap of the other games. The sound design of the guns in this game, I think, might be some of the best. Like, this is definitely the best sounding AR compared to the other games. Yeah, they're just covering all the other games. But, yeah, the biggest complaint people had was the shift in art style, which I understand. The Promethean or the Forerunner architecture looks a lot different in this game, but I guess in canon they've kind of tried to justify it by saying, oh, it's different types of Forerunners, like the Builders, all the different classes of Forerunners have different looking architecture. I think that's just an excuse because they didn't make it look exactly like it did. And from what I've heard, 343 originally didn't have a ton of people that even made Halo in it, or like there was a lot of like people from Hollywood involved in the 343, like in the making of it. I don't know if that's true or not. A lot of like animators from places like Pixar and stuff, people that didn't have a ton of background knowledge on Halo, which sounds like a terrible idea, but obviously they had enough that they can reference the other games. And also, can we talk about this game is from 2012? It's nearly 10 years old, and this game looked incredible at the time, and it still looks incredible. And, this is a 360 game. It doesn't look like it. There's parts in the game where you're just like, how on earth? This was one of the final 360 games. It was the last year of the 360. This and GTA 5 were pushing the console to the absolute limit. I can't remember if it was a 2-disc game or not. It might have been. It might have been an install disc. I don't know. But it still looks really, really good.
4 years, 7 months, 10 days.
Oh, that would scare me to find out I was out that long.
What's that?
Sensor scan, high intensity. Doesn't match
I hate that the marketing spoiled this.
How close are we to
The marketing had the whole scanning thing, and like they showed the Didac symbol, and they gave that away, and also the commercials had a night. They showed off the night before it would have been so much more effective if we hadn't known about what they looked like or experienced them until we played it. I think that would have been better. Pry opens the door. QTEs. That was the era at this time. There was There's no QTEs in the other Halo games, but this was like peak QTE era. This felt very out of place in this game.
Chief, watch out!
And I understand the criticisms of the multiplayer.
Deteriorated so bad.
It's probably the worst multiplayer of the series. but I still played a lot of it. But it had a very fast and massive drop off in the player count. Here's the line that doesn't explain why you're fighting elites again. I thought we had a truce. A lot can happen in 4 years. Come on, don't make us rely on the books. Explain. Give us a little more context, because if you don't read the books, you're going to be like, why are we fighting elites again? Because the last people knew was that the elites were on our side now at the time of Halo 3. And also, their design is weird in this. 343 elites were weird. They had no armor. I get that the Covenant's disbanded, and also the Grunts not speaking English. That was a weird choice. They're like stripped down versions of the Reach elites. Assassinations returned, of course. A lot of new weapons in this. The Storm Rifle replaces the... It kind of combines the Covenant Carbine and the Plasma Rifle. My favorite new additions, like the thing 343 does best, I think, is adding new weapons to their weapon pool. That's the best thing that they do. The Saw, one of my favorite new additions. The Railgun, one of my favorite new additions. I like the Sticky Detonator. All the Promethean weapons, when you first picked those up in the campaign, that was a trip. That was mind-blowing. When you first pick up a bolt shot, a light rifle, binary rifle, incineration cannon, that's crazy when it's like transforming in your hand. Those are some of my favorite memories of this game. It's being like, wow, what is this gun? I will miss that in Infinite. They don't transform when you pick them up, and also I kind of would have liked to have not seen all the guns before the game came out, but because they released multiplayer early, I know and have seen basically all the guns, except for if they have hidden ones. It was fun to pick up new ones that I hadn't seen during the campaign, but I'm not going to have that this time, sadly. Open the shield, or a blast shield.
The good news is these Covenant aren't outfitted like standard military. It's possible we just came across a rogue salvage.
Yeah, they try to justify it that it's like the Covenant's ragtag now because they have no leadership. The prophets are dead. The books explain there's a guy named Julam Dama who's basically in charge of what's left of the Covenant. It's really glossed over in the games and not explained, which I think was a bad idea. They should have explained it for the people that only play the games. Good Magnum in this game, just like Reach. They didn't make the mistake of having a Halo 3 style Magnum again. The grunt design is also very weird in this game. They have like little tubes that go in their nose and stuff, and they don't have their traditional mask on, and their methane pack looks different. Bloom is gone in this game. Oh, well, it's still here, but it's not intrusive, and it doesn't make your gun inaccurate. And they also kept armor abilities. Those are back, and they have some new ones like Promethean Vision. There's a lot of new ones, and they dropped some of the ones that people hated, like Armor Lock. Come here. Stop running. Yeah, the best word I can describe the art style in the first 2, 3, 4, 3 games is busy. Everything is over-designed. Bungie had such simplistic but effective designs that when they over-design, it's very obvious. Oh, have you know? Also, the little detail I do like in this game is you can see Chief's helmet outline on the top and the bottom edges. You can see like his visor. That's just a cool little touch I like. Come here. But from what I've heard, and this makes sense, what's his face? Wow, why am I blanking? Brain fog. Steve Downs said this game was the most fun to make out of all of them because I think him and Jen Taylor hadn't met in person at all when they made the original trilogy. They just recorded their lines in different places and sent them to Bungie. This game was the first time they were, I think, in the same room as far as I know. And he had way more dialogue in this game, so he said he had the most fun making this game. Which is funny because it's not people's favorite Halo game, but it's his most fun experience. And the music, it's obviously not Marty O'Donnell. That was a big blow to not have Marty come back. However, Neil Davidge, I think, made a pretty good soundtrack. There are like 3 or 4 tracks that are some of the best in the series, I think. Very different feel to them because Neil Davidge is very different composer to Marty. No, but I think he did a very admirable job going for what the tone of this game was. Yeah, very tonally different music, and it's obviously not gonna. I don't think it's not gonna be as good as Marty's, but it's still very good in its own right. Like the 117 theme, it's great. It's different than a lot of the previous music, but it's still excellent. And then Kazuma, the composer for Halo 5, did a good job of combining the old themes with themes from 4. Just excellent stuff. And also, I think the biggest problem with this game is also the linearity. It's way more linear than previous games. Instead of like having a big open arena that you're fighting in with vehicles, you barely have any of that in this game. You have more of it in 5. But I think because this was their first game, they just didn't have the experience. I think they had a team of people that some were experienced in game development. Like the lead of this game, Josh Holmes, made like a basketball game at one point. It's like, how did he manage to do this? Like it was a ragtag crew that made this game. So it's kind of a miracle that it turned out as well as it did. Could have been much worse. And there are still people that say this game is awful, that they don't even consider anything canon after 3. But I think that's just their nostalgia and their favoritism for Bungie that is causing that. I don't think they're...
We're just about there.
Because even if you took the Halo name off this game, it's a very good sci-fi game. But when the name Halo is attached, you have certain expectations, and so when those expectations aren't met, I understand why you might want to basically disown the game. Ow, 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 ow. I don't know, the pistol sounds kind of weird in this. And also the BR, I hate the sound of the BR in this. Just way too much treble, not enough bass. The Needler is much better. It's like the Reach 1, much better than 3's. It's better than 5's. I don't like 5's Needler. It sounds awful. The Jackal designs also are very weird. Like, they look like weird raptors. Their necks are all thick, too. Like, they used to look like chickens, and that design is back now in Infinite, so I'm glad to see basically all the classic designs coming back. And I'm dead. And he still shoots my corpse. Oh, no.
We're just about there.
How much did I lose? I don't know. I don't think a ton. Obviously the big thing in this game was like the big reveal of the Didact. I like it. I don't like the ending. How it looked like a boss fight was going to start, and then it's just a really bad QTE, and he just kind of falls. That was such a letdown. It's like, come on, this is the Didact, and you're just gonna dispose of him like that? And he doesn't die. Like, apparently it was in the comics that he doesn't die, and he was gonna be in 5, but he was scrapped at the last minute. So I do hope he comes back in Infinite, because so much potential for him, and he was wasted at the end of this. Like, you kind of have one meeting with him in this game, and then you're chasing him the rest of the game, and then you meet him again, you stick a grenade on him, and he just goes, "Ugh," and falls. It's so lame. My theory is that they were planning a boss fight, and they ran out of time. Honestly, I think this and 5 were victims of Microsoft rushing them. Because Phil wasn't... I don't think Phil Spencer was head of head of Xbox at the time, was he? So he I think without Phil, we wouldn't have got a delay on Infinite. We would have had, if anyone else was in there, somebody who only cares about the bottom line and just cares about getting their shareholders pleased, because that definitely made shareholders unhappy to have Halo delayed out of last year. But I think that decision wouldn't have happened wouldn't have happened without Phil. And I think it was very beneficial to the game. But 4 and 5, I think it was the leadership at the time was like, no, we need another Halo out. We got to make that cash money. They didn't care about if the game was rushed or if there was still things wrong with it. Because I think everybody can agree we wanted a boss fight with him. I don't remember. Where am I going here? I forgot. Is it this way? Hello? Oh, yeah. Forgot, this is the first time Sprint is integrated to where you just always have it. It's not an armor ability. You just click in. It's like Call of Duty. I remember people said this game was too Call of Duty-like. The one thing I do agree is, like, all the corridor levels, the linearity part, yes, that's true. It's like a Call of Duty campaign. But, okay, I'm very confused. Where do I go? Oh, okay. In, like, the multiplayer with the loadouts was not... Well, that was in Reach, but, like, that and the kill streaks, basically, that was not... That wasn't Halo-y. Yeah, but this was the start of her rampancy, which I think we all saw coming after 3. BR, weird new design. It has a square scope now instead of round. Yeah, this was kind of mind-blowing when she's like, yeah, we're outside of a Forerunner planet. It's like, excuse me? Chief doesn't react much to that. You'd think he'd be like, what? He's just like, oh, okay. But maybe that's in character. I like this song, too. Again, not like traditional Halo music, but still enjoyable. What? Oh, I got beam rifled.
You'll have to prime the launch for ignition.
She going crazy.
It's nothing. Just get to the launch station.
I mean, she spent 4 years alone doing nothing, basically. I would have been scared to be in that same room with a slowly deteriorating AI. Also, it is a little weird that her rampancy started at this point in the timeline 4 years ago, and it took another 4 years for it to finally take its toll. Like, well, actually, I don't know if it had started. She got probably, we still don't know for sure, but she probably got infected with the Logic Plague by something on board the Ark. We can assume mendicant bias. I guess we'll find out in Infinite, but, and maybe it just took this long to take its toll, I don't know. We'll see. Because there's still some unanswered questions about this game and what happened with her. Go away. Yeah, I'm not a fan at all of this BR sound. It doesn't sound meaty anymore. It sounds almost squeaky. I like the carbine in this game though. It's pretty good. Oh man, there's so many of you.
There's the launch station.
Yeah, I know.
Launch initiated.
Here we go. I think I have to like kick it or something. I don't remember.
Blast door's jammed.
Yeah, it gets
So hold
jammed.
fire until it's clear.
Yeah, between Cortana and Chief, they both get way more dialogue in this game. Yeah, this is a good track. I can listen to all these soundtracks basically and find enjoyment out of all of them, but like I don't think Marty misses at all. I do think there's a few songs that are like kind of misses in this soundtrack, but let's hope that they can create a banger. And I don't know any. I haven't heard really any Infinite songs yet. I don't know if the soundtrack is released yet. It might be. So yeah, the ending with the spaceship I loved in this game. It was a kind of like the one in Reach, but not really. You didn't have as many like acrobatics and stuff, and you're trying to like. It felt like the Death Star trench run, to be honest. We got to fly a broadsword, and you fly a broadsword, and also you fly a pelican for the first time in this game. Never did it in the whole series, and then there's that mission that feels like the New Alexandria mission from Reach, where you're flying a pelican from place to place. This felt like 343 took like the most popular like missions and like just made a greatest hits of it. But this game also has a problem with too many press 3 buttons. There's like 6 times in this game where it's like, do these 3 things. Destroy 3 of these things, and then that's your whole objective, and it's like, it got old fast. Okay, here's one of my least favorite parts of the game, only because watch this pathetic explosion. I don't know what happened here, look. Eh. It's like 4 pieces break off, and like it's like 2 very small explosions. 343, I don't know what it is, but they can't make explosions as good as Bungie. It's very weird. I think it was a limitation with the console. They were trying to maintain, at the time, this was 30 frames per second. It's 60 now, but I think if they had made a bigger explosion, the frame rate would have taken a dump. So they were probably sacrificing detail for that. Oh yeah, that's right. You were running from a gravity well pulling us in. This is a cool opening to a game. Probably one of the best openings to Halo of any of the games. I would love to see, it's probably it'll never happen, but like maybe a fan project. I wonder if people would like this game more if you remade the whole game, but like in Bungie's art style. Would that help? I don't know. Because how much more effective would it be if Chief came out of that pod and he looked exactly like he did in 3? I think that would have been pretty cool. And I'm not a fan of the orange visor. They made it gold again in 5. You got to have the gold visor. Were we supposed to fall here? I can't remember.
Just keep me pointed that vehicle bay.
I do like... I'm trying to think of all the missions in this game. I do like the Mammoth mission, although it goes on way too long. It's probably the longest mission. One of the longest missions in any Halo game. It's way too long. I'm gonna assassinate this guy. Yeah, it gets tedious. But I like that weird desert location you're in. There's like... I feel like there's like tumbleweeds and stuff. It looks pretty cool. Oh yeah, wait, this is the title sequence. We haven't even seen the title card yet. That's a very effective opening. If the rest of the game had been as good as this opening, it would have been a top tier game. It's still... Maybe this is going to be blasphemous, but I think I enjoy this more than ODST. I know, it's crazy. But I think I do. We're about to see the title card. Halo 4. Yeah, and they even changed the font. It's different. I think I'm going to play a little bit more. But I feel like this game is getting more appreciation as the years go on. Especially after 5. After 5, people looked back on this more fondly. They're like, you know... It's like the Thanos meme. It's like, perhaps I treated you too unfairly. Maybe 4 wasn't so bad. But I also think 5 has some redeeming qualities. I don't think it's all trash, like some people do. And honestly, I think it's also some of it's the rose-tinted glasses people have. They don't want change at all. And so if it's not made by Bungie, it ain't Halo. But look at that low-res hand. Or it's not low res, it's like low detail. Hello. The way he moves, he sounds so much heavier and like just meatier too. With his like his armor scrapes against each other. Like 3 didn't really have any of those sound effects when he walked around, but he just feels like a or what is it? No, like 7-ton person.
I'm sorry. It's the crash. I'm fine.
Something was wrong even before we left the Dawn.
Chief, really?
You know what? I can't. I can't decide now if I prefer the Halo 3 or 4 Cortana.
I was put into service 8 years ago.
8 years.
8 years.
AIs deteriorate after 7, Chief.
So shouldn't you be completely deteriorated by now?
Halsey.
Chief.
We need to find Halsey.
Chief, please.
She made you. She can fix you.
I won't recover from rampancy, Chief.
If we can just get back to Earth and find Halsey.
See, I like all this interaction between them, but I guess some people just wanted Chief to be like harumph and gruff, or like just make like grunts and stuff, and just have no human emotion whatsoever. I mean, you wouldn't have a scene then, but I get that he's like all stoic in the other games, and I think they're bringing some of that stoicism back in Infinite, and he's like a man of few words, but I still think it fits for this game and what they're going for. This looks really good too still, with like all the god rays coming through. There's a lot of Easter eggs over here too that I was watching somebody play it recently in a Let's Play, and there was ones I missed. Like there's little radios and stuff you can click on that I missed, and same thing with 5. I guess I just kind of went through it and didn't like explore. Here's the saw. That's gonna change with Infinite. I'm gonna take that game as slow as possible, explore every inch, try to find all the hidden stuff because it's an open world now. I don't want to blast through it. I kind of blasted through this when it came out just because I wanted to see what happened. I mean, you wait so many years and it's almost like you don't want to finish it too fast. From what I hear, there's 14 missions in Infinite, which is about on par with Halo 2. But I think they're going to be longer than Halo 2's missions, so it's going to be a longer game. And then also there's the side quests too, so... Ooh, exciting times. We're very close. The Saw, I'm going to miss you in Infinite. Man, I love this thing.
Covenant?
I don't think so.
I do like the mystery that you get for a couple missions, like, who is this thing that's scanning me? And if you didn't read the terminals in Halo 3, you'd probably be like, who on earth's the Didact? I understand the people that didn't get the story. Oh, this part. Hold on. That's like an E3 moment. This part was mind-blowing at the time, because like they timed the music perfectly. You come out of a dark cave out into the light, and you get the music swelling, and you just see these massive structures transforming. Such a great moment. So cinematic. And it's the first time you're like, it actually hits you like, yeah, this is a huge place. It's a foreigner planet, which we've not seen before. So I remember just my mind was it gives you that sense of awe that Halo 1 gave you. Like, you coming out of this cave out here is basically the equivalent of in Halo 1 when you walk out of that pod onto the Halo ring and you look up at the ring for the first time. It instills that same level of wonder that I think the series needs to return to.
Still in one piece. Nice to see your luck is holding out.
I like the Warthog. I don't know if I like the new sound for it though. It sounds aggressive. It's almost like an ATV or something. I don't know, but it's
About my condition,
I prefer the old sound effect. It could just be it's nostalgia, I think.
since you brought it up, it is
Because there's nothing inherently wrong with this sound, but I just prefer the other one. And the first new design of it, you got like the little wires on the edges or the handlebars, and you got water cans on the back, because we found out, oh hey, by the way, the Warthog runs on water.
It may be possible to recompile my neural net by replicating those same conditions. But that means getting back to
I like how you find out stuff like this, where she's like, yeah, I'm a clone of Halsey, which obviously the last game before this was Reach, so we knew about that, because you see that happen in that game. So it was cool to see the continuation of that, because people that played Reach would know about it. I feel like this is the only time in the game where you get a lot of Warthog stuff. But it is very linear for a while.
stronger this time.
Do you think there's something to it?
I'm curious.
There's a lot more invisible walls in 343's Halo games. You don't have the ability to like jump on random rocks and stuff. Like if this was a Bungie game, you'd probably be able to jump up on all of those if you try hard enough.
Hostiles.
Just gonna run you over. Is there anything more fun than running things over with the Warthog? I don't think so. See, like, even little things like these little crates, their design has changed. The shields, maybe it can be explained that it's Julim Damla's covenant, so, like, they change the design after the prophets are no longer in charge. I don't know. I don't know if you can... That's just writing around it. That's making excuses for the designers. But, I think 343 underestimated how iconic the design was, and they thought, hey, we can change this and people will still like it. Just because it says Halo on the box, people will still like it. But no, they underestimated how iconic and important Bungie's designs were. So they've gone back on a lot of it. At least they're taking feedback. They could have completely ignored us if they wanted. Where are you? Oh. But yeah, like we've learned with these last few games that you can't just slap Halo on the box and people will accept it. It's like, look, let's take a look at these up close. You got like the scaly bodies, the completely different looking head. Oops. I meant to zoom in. This isn't Halo 5.
We could always ask nicely.
Asking's not my strong suit.
Yeah, definitely, Chief. I really like all the Forerunner architecture in this. And I understand that it doesn't look the same. It's been changed a little bit. And I think there's been justifications in the lore as to why it looks different than the Forerunner architecture of the past. So then everybody was so hyped to see when they started showing off Forerunner architecture in Infinite. People are like, "Ooh, yes, we're back in business, baby." And some of it's over designed. I just feel like they went a little bit too far. Sometimes simpler is better. Oh crap, less is more when it comes to those designs. And I guess it's just a lesson they had to learn. 4 and 5 really do, in hindsight, feel like not betas, but like they feel like it was 343 finding their footing. Yes, it took 9 years, but they had to take that long to basically learn how to make a Halo game. Like some of the there's not a lot of the guns aren't super balanced. Some people hate the sprint. Yeah, the sprinting, the movement isn't that great in this game. The movement's phenomenal in Infinite, but it took them, like I said, it took them a while to nail it. And of course, they were rushed on these games too, I think. But I think now another reason why Phil delayed the game is like they know that Halo breads their butter without. Did I just say breads their butter? No, it butters their bread. Without Halo, Xbox doesn't exist. So they know they can't screw up the launch, so they're like, okay, fine, give them time to finish it, get it as polished as possible, because in the long run, it will help. And it's kind of their last chance. They got to nail it. You got to keep the franchise well, quality if you want to keep having people buy Xboxes and pay for your stuff. It's your flagship series, so you can't keep screwing up. And if you're playing co-op, all these games are fun. Like, even if there's a lot of things you have to criticize about this game, it's still fun in co-op. Which is why it's such a shame that we're not getting it for a while in Infinite. I know I've said it a million times, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a shame. I am totally out. I keep neglecting to use Sprint, even though I should be. What? Did that go between your legs? Oh no! No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I overheated my gun. Where's that sword? I want it. Slightly different sword design too, and I mean all the guns have slightly different designs, but the sound isn't as good as it was before. I missed the of the Halo 3 one. Active camo.
I'll run a soft patch to it from the suit. Never know what might come in.
Instead of this being a pickup little orb, it's a button press. It's an armor ability. Whoa, look at my shadow.
I heard something that time.
That ends up being, of course, Del Rio trying to contact them. That jerk, Del Rio. Wait, did I just... I think we went down. Yeah, in this game, unfortunately, there was no skulls in this game. Probably something they ran out of time to do. But there were still terminals. So, that was... Oh, Sentinels. They look a little different, too. This room is pretty cool. This is, like, definitely the most different music from the other games. This weird, like, chanting. It almost sounds Avatar-esque.
There, Chief. A console in the back. It's a localized site cartographer. Okay.
This is where you find out the name of this place.
Forerunner Shield World designate Requiem.
Requiem. At least we know
Yeah,
where we are
boy.
now.
Let's see if it can tell us.
See, I don't know what it is about the orange visor. I just don't like it.
What happened?
See, if people knew, like, the deep lore, they would have seen that symbol and immediately known, okay, we're dealing with either the Didact or the Librarian.
Several locations. I'll put them up for you. Hopefully we can find some way to get this cartographer
Yeah, this is the
back on
start of the big criticism of this game is press 3 buttons. They do it way too much in this game. I don't like how when you click on a button like this, it takes control away from you and you basically are put into a little cutscene. That's going away in Infinite as far as I know. You press a button now and it doesn't put you into an animation. You can still move around.
What's it doing?
Which was like that in the old games. The old games would let you do that. They wouldn't lock you into a cutscene.
Your shields are just cycling in response to the chamber's charge.
Will this bring the cartographer back online?
No.
Partially. This type of processing system usually works in parallel. We'll have to locate its twin.
Yeah, you know, the more I look at these jackals, the less I like their design. I used to think that it was a cool, almost like an upgrade because it looked like raptors, but I think the chicken-like design is better. Or bird-like. Oh, that was... Wow. Yeah, drones were dropped. There's no drones in this game. You still got hunters. Which they only show up, like, once, though. What else? The Hornet. I mean, like, terms of vehicles, the Hornet was dropped. No chopper because there's no brutes.
Is that the same signal?
It felt like a trimmed-down variety of enemies, probably to make room for the new ones.
Cortana to infinity. Please respond.
You know, in hindsight, this video, I should have had a level where you fight Prometheans.
Infinity has to be close by.
But I'll definitely be fighting them in 5, so I can comment on those, because I know there's people that hate fighting them.
Able to use it to track
Like, they
the
hate them
location.
fighting them more than the Flood. I think I agree with that. I think I prefer fighting the Flood. Maybe. I don't know. But the Flood can be very annoying. But there's a little bit of over-design, too. Over-design stuff with that. I think the Knight... back in the day, I was like, this looks so cool, but I do think there's a little bit too much... It's too busy of a design.
Same signal.
And, like, the Watchers come onto their back. I don't know. I do think they improved on them in 5, though. They were bigger. They were more like a mini-boss. There weren't so many of them. They were everywhere in this game because they were a new faction.
No
I
response.
preferred the soldiers
On the strength of that signal, the
that
enemy
replaced them.
has to be close by. The cartographer should be back online. We may be able to use it to track the ship's location. We can't give the Covenant access to the cartographer.
Can I just punch
Clear
him?
them out.
Come here. Oh, yeah, duh. I have invisibility. You guys are really good at dodging plasma grenades. Assassinating a grunt. This is gonna kill me. Checkpoint done.
Quick, to the cartographer.
Wait, didn't I just do this? Or no? No, I think this is a different cutscene. Man, Cortana's design in this game, you're almost skirting close to adults only. I mean, games aren't rated AO really anymore, but definitely a high-def Cortana,
Can't be right.
if you know what I'm saying.
We've already passed through one layer of the planet's surface. It's not crazy to think that someone else made it deeper inside than we did.
You mean the planet's hollow?
And then I don't like her design in 5, but we'll get to that whole thing. I just don't like her design. I mean, I so far I like the design of the weapon, than basically new Cortana in Infinite. She's more like this one.
If we have a shot at getting you
I kind of like that moment. She's like, I don't know. She's like recognizing something's wrong. Her acting, both their acting are great in this. Ooh, spooky. What is this? You know what this looks like? All these lasers pointed here looks just like, you remember that scene in Infinity War where Vision's on the table and they're trying to fix his Mind Stone? That's what it looks like. Ooh, wait. Yeah, hard light shield. This is probably my favorite new armor ability they added was this. A shield that you can use while moving. It's very good. But I think I have to end it here only because we're getting to about the same length as the other videos. So I'm sure you all know what happens after this. Like I said, I still defend this game to this day, especially after 5. And there are problems with it. I understand the criticisms of the art design and the characterization of Chief, but overall, I still think it's an enjoyable entry into the series. So maybe one day I'll do a full playthrough, or maybe like a full extensive review of it to get more in detail of my thoughts. But for now, this is all I'm going to do for this. So I hope you go back and watch my other Road to Halo Infinite videos, and I got one more to make for Halo 5. And then we're basically there, baby. It's Infinite time. So thank you for watching this one on Halo 4, and I'll see you next time for Halo 5.